Hi everyone, how are you all? I'm back again tonight with another Christmas card. I told you I was in the Christmas spirit, and this one is a 3-panel card which folds out like this. And once again I'm using some very old stash I've got. I am really in a use it or lose it mood, so I'm going through things and using things up, and I loved these papers. Were from last year. I have no idea of the name of them. I'm sure they were last year, but I can remember really loving them last year, and I haven't got that much left. What's the other piece? I was going to go with that piece, but I think that's more of a rose gold on there, and I had cut the gold ready. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm using another old stamp set called Christmas Pines and the Pretty Pines Thinlets. And this card actually uses one piece of what's it called, 8.5 by 11.5. I've trimmed it down to 5.5, and I've trimmed it to just under 11 inches. I did it to 11 inches, but then when I folded it, this section here was a little bit tight in that corner, so I trimmed it down again. So you end up with a little piece like this and a piece like this left. These are brilliant though for doing sentiments, so I always keep those pieces in my scrap drawer. And I am going to score this. Bring in my score, but I'm going to score it at 3 inches. There we go. There's 3 inches and 7 inches. So this, as you can see, this section here is 4 inches. This is just short of 4 inches because, as you can see, I'm just under 11 inches there to make it easy to fold. And this one then is 3 inches. And then I'm going to put that to one side and bring in my bone folder so I can get some nice crisp edges. There we go. Just fold them up. This stamp set reminds me of the Peaceful Boughs that's in the catalogue at the moment. I'm just going to take another little tiny smidgen off because it's still catching. But I think I've said before, I've been quite harsh with myself this year, or I've been, perhaps what I should say is I've been a little bit more restrained this year, and I'm not buying everything in the catalogue, but I'm being inspired by it and using some old stash up. So all of this I'm using tonight, apart from some enamel dots, are old items from my stash. There we go. So I'm going to stick this piece on the outside, and this is just short of 5.5 by just short of 4 inches. So that piece is going there, and I've got a smaller piece then to run down the outside there, like that. So I'm just going to stick that down as well. And then on the inside panel, I thought it looked a little bit bare, this one here. So I then used the back of the paper. And the colours in this paper, I think, are Crumb Cake, Shade Spruce. In this one here, that's Cherry Cobbler, and a bit of Crumb Cake again. So I've got the green piece now, green piece, just there. Then I'm going to do the insert. I'm just going to line that up on the side. And I'm going to do the insert then. And the insert is, I think I cut this because I wanted to just use up the piece I had left over from my last card. This is probably about 3.5, and then that's by 5.5. I use the Stamparatus to stamp these out, and it's actually a 2-step stamp on this one. I'm going to bring my incredibly powerful magnet in. Oh, I need to do it down this side first because I'm going to be stamping up in this top corner. And what I do is find the one that's the full image first. That's this one. Because I'm only going to be using the one colour ink, I'm going to stamp it off before I stamp the detailed piece down then. Like that. Get the other magnet out. Now just remember, if you have got these, try your absolute hardest not to let these touch, because they are not easy to get apart. So I'm going to just find a bit of scrap paper. Usually I'm surrounded in scrap paper, and tonight I can't. So it's a bit of overkill here, but earlier on I noticed that when I was stamping off onto the piece of paper on the top of the card, some of the green came through, which I was a bit surprised at. So I'm using now Shaded Spruce, and this is the piece that's got the full piece, if that makes sense. So you want that in a slightly lighter tone. So first I'm going to stamp down on there, lift that up, stamp down again. There we go. And I don't know whether this stamp set's a little bit greasy, because it seems to be struggling to give me a really crisp detail. Sometimes that's if something has got on there. I'll take that one off a second, and then I'm going to bring in the detail, and this time I'm not going to stamp it off. I'm just going to use the full force of the ink, if that makes sense. I'll try my hardest to line it up. I do like this two stampers, and I must be honest, the stamper artist is a godsend for doing this. There we go. As you can see, it's just come off slightly, but that's fine, because it's still a really nice image. I'm going to bring the other one back in again now, because I'm just going to do a little bit down the bottom. Not much of it's going to be on there. About that much there. And once again, I'm going to stamp this one off first. Because it's quite a small piece of card, I think it's struggling to hold it in one place. So here's the complete piece. Stamp it off. Pick it up. Stamp it back down. So as you can see, not much of this has come on there. There seems to be a mark on it because I'm getting a gap all the time. And bringing this one back in then. And once again, with this one, I'm going to stamp it then with the full force, with the full juiciness of the ink pad. Shaded Spruce isn't a colour I use very often, but it is perfect for these kind of designs. There we go. Now I'm going to stamp the sentiment, and I've gone for Tidings of Comfort and Joy. You're very lucky. I would sing ordinarily. There we go. Oh, I nearly stamped it upside down. Let me tell you, I've done that before. In fact, I made an entire card front once, and I stuck it on the card and I was upside down. No, back to front, I think. Right, so I've treated myself to my new cherry cobbler, which was in a drawer, which I thought. I'm going to be a bit careful now with it because it's a lot juicier. There we go. Tidings of Comfort and Joy. Oh, still, I'm just going to move this one out the way. That's the great thing about a stamping platform of any variety. At least you can go back in and do it again. So that's done. That's going to go there. I'm just going to put that to one side. Clean this off. At the moment I'm just using a baby wipe, but what I tend to do then is off screen I give them a better clean. I'm just going to put all those to one side, sort those out in a second. Now then, I need to bring those back in, because obviously on this one underneath I have got a little bit of the green there, and I've also got the Season of Joy, and I've stuck just the top section of these down because I wanted them to have a little bit of dimension. There we go. There we are. So I'm going to bring in this piece which I've cut with the stitched rectangles, which I love, love, love. And I'm going to bring in my little pine thing again. Leaf. Pine leaf, that's the word I was looking for. There we go. I've hidden shaded spruce in plain sight on my desk, of course. There we are. And I'm going to stamp that down again. And just bring it in because I don't want it to be too overpowering. And then I'm going to stamp a sentiment which says Season of Joy. Now it's quite a tight fit, this one, so you need to be quite careful. It does fit on, but it is a bit of a squash and a squeeze, and I got to make sure that they stay as far away from each other as they can be, because my mum's accidentally got caught up together and it took all my might to separate them, and they will snap. There we go. There we are. And that's all the stamping done, because that's all that remains now is for me to assemble the front of the card. This little panel here. So I'm going to put one away there. Throw that out the way then. You ought to see the carnage on my desk. As you can see, this little piece here, nice and clear. The rest of the desk, whew, what a mess. So I'm going to, using my my ATG gun, just apply some double-sided tape. Stick this then, and I cut this out of gold, and this is just like you buy packs of gold in like Home Bargains or the Watch Shop or something like that. It's just one of those, there's nothing special about it. And then I've got all my little foliage pieces, and I'm using now the fine tip applicator glue, which for some reason the whole thing is coming apart, but as long as it works, that's fine by me. I'll stick this one down first because I thought this echoed the little gold detailing that's on the paper. So as I say, look through your scraps box of Christmas papers if you keep them all together, and just, these are perfect for using up those little pieces. Otherwise it'll be another year where they just sit in my box doing nothing, and then at some point probably I'll take them into school. But this way now I've got a little bit of extra use from them. There. So I've only applied the glue there to the top section of the leaf so I can bend the other piece up a little bit. Then here's the next one. And once again I'm just pressing that down. I'm covered tonight in green. Yesterday it was soft suede and cherry cobbler. Tonight it's green. The state of my fingers, I look like Shrek tonight. And then I'm going to use some foam, not foam dots, some glue dots. And I'm going to stick the one to the other like that, if they're just crossing, and then one more in the corner. I'm going to add it there, and then the only newish product I've used are these little enamel dots in Christmas colours. I'm just going to add some of those on. just to give it a little bit of a glittery effect on the front. So now, just to finish the card, I'm going to stick the inside in. So make sure I'm not sticking upside down, because I have got foam. There we are. So tidings of comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. There we go. I was hoping I'd get through all that without singing. I'm in school, I'm forever singing. And the children will say something to me and I'll usually know a song associated with that word. And the juniors usually look at each other and roll their eyes and say, oh, she's off again. And my nursery children just think it's wonderful. So there it is. That's the card. Little 3-panel card that opens up. And if you wanted to, you could have something on there as well. You could have another little detailing on there. But all using scraps of paper. And also could be scraps of cards. So I've used very vanilla there. To be honest, you could have got away with Whisper White, but I do like very vanilla on Cherry Cobbler. So there we go. Another night, another Christmas card. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you soon. Hwyl fawr.